Thank you, Mr. President. So after yesterday, I've certainly received the answer to the call that I made and the call that the senator from the 39th made regarding a public apology and a resignation of the Speaker's attorney. It's quite obvious that that's not going to happen. And I think that it's important for people to understand. There were some comments made yesterday that we need to focus on the business we're here to do. And I would just remind everyone that the incident that took place steps away from the page's desk. It took place steps away from where we have young people who are coming to see how government works, how it really operates, are here. And I think that for them to bear witness to something like that, it speaks to, as I said yesterday, a toxic culture, a culture that is tremendously dysfunctional. And I've been asked, well, where's the outcry from, other members of the General Assembly? Well, the truth of the matter is, I don't really think this is a secret. If someone were to take this well and make what I think is kind of the obvious point that we don't conduct ourselves that way, the likelihood is that their legislation wouldn't move forward, that they would be subjected to other penalties and punitive action. And I can tell you, as somebody who studied political science when I first got elected to the legislature, took the time to read the book that the University of Georgia puts out, the Handbook for Georgia Legislators. Went to the biennial there in Athens, got the training on what it's like to be in the General Assembly, and received some similar training at various meetings around the country that NCSL sponsors. Nobody talks about a petty, punitive culture where ideas are suborned to the personal arrogance of a few. And for someone, there are a number of different ways that people lead. One of the ways people lead is by example. And so when someone allows their employee, who's paid for by the taxpayers, by the 10 million or so people outside of this building, to behave in the way they behave, it's not the personal interaction that it happened to involve me. It's the fact that it sends a message. When that person says, I'm not going to punish that person, I'm not even going to say that the conduct was wrongful conduct, that's leading. It's saying that that's acceptable behavior in this General Assembly. It's saying that's the way things work down here. And, I've really considered it an honor and a privilege to serve in this General Assembly, but I must tell you, I find the events of the last few days is the first time I've really been ashamed of the process down here. It's the first time I've been embarrassed by the process down here. The people that we represent deserve better than this. They deserve an honest conversation on issues that matter. They deserve a legislative process that considers the issues first, that advances the policies first, and that puts personality second. But unfortunately, that's not the process we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with a toxic culture where people are afraid to vote their conscience. They're afraid to be frank and honest in public discussions. They're afraid of bringing forward certain legislative ideas. That is a dysfunctional and broken process, and it is something needs to happen. Something needs to occur to address it. I know that the people who we represent don't want the process that we have. I think if they were fully aware of the process that we had, they would be outside with torches and pitchforks. The people of Georgia deserve better than what they are getting. And, what we need to have happen is we need a process. I'll just close by saying this. One of the people that really got me involved in politics was Bo Calloway. And one of his favorite things to say was, quoting George Washington, he would say, "Let's raise a standard to which the wise and honorable may repair, and for the rest we leave it in the hands of God." The quote wasn't, "Let's raise a standard after we run it by a few powerful people. Let's raise a standard once we're sure we're not going to offend anybody's sensibilities." But we ought to raise a standard in this legislature of conduct. And that standard ought to be higher than what somebody sees on Monday night when they watch professional wrestling. We deserve better than that as a state. And I'm going to continue to speak about this as long as it takes, because the people of Georgia deserve a legislative process that works, and they deserve a legislative process that respects each and every member. Thank you, Mr. President.